Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're diving back into some more SkyFactory One. Starting off today, boy, do we have a lot of stuff to get done. Now, we still have this beautiful platform. I'm still working on getting all of that soul sand. The only thing I've done is basically grinded up some more soul sand, got that cooked up so we have enough quartz for today's video. Now, why do we need quartz? Why do we need quartz? Well, today we're going to be getting started with refined storage. I know day 3, well, it's not really day 3, day 30, but basically day 3 or episode 3, we are already getting into refined storage, and I am really wanting to get this as soon as possible. Some things we're going to need for refined storage. Well, we just need iron, literally gold, iron. We need quartz, glowstone, a couple of diamonds, some slime, which we already have, as I found out how to get, some string, and that's really all you need. Crafting table, like, that's it. But we also need power. Now, as far as generators go, there's several options, and we're going to kind of weigh our options as we get started, because there's a lot of options, and I may go with cyclic. I think cyclic might be interesting. The only downside to some of them is they may not have like a energy buffer, where once they hit a energy cap, like they fill up their internal buffer, they stop consuming fuel. Some of them may not do that. So it is going to be kind of a thing to find out. But I do want to start off with cyclic. It may not be the best in the world at first, but it'll be a start. And I'm enjoying using the cyclic stuff. So getting into this awesome mod that is refined storage, there's only a few things that we're going to need. Actually, inside of our inventory is basically all of them. We are going to need a few mob drops. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the slimes. And then we're also going to need string. I might actually have to grow a tree. We have a little bit of string. I think that should be enough. But let's take it to this crafting table. We're going to combine this with that, and that's going to get us those processor bindings. So simple. And we're going to make processors. With this, we are going to need a bit of redstone, actually. So also, you do need some redstone with this to get these crafts. But this right here, all you need. All you need to get started with, just to make these 3 machines right here, which is the ones that you need the controller, the crafting grid, and just the disk drive if you're going to make a single disk, which is really easy as well. I'm not going to talk about the ingredients required in this, because as you can see, it doesn't require any like major materials other than iron. But just to get started with these 3 major machines, you need 3 diamonds, 2 iron, and you're going to need 2 gold. That's literally it to be able to make these things. So we need 3 advanced, 2 of the gold, and 2 of the iron, technically. 4 right now. Now, to make the drives, that's going to have a different number associated to it, and we'll talk about that later on. And then we're also going to need iron that is turned into quartz-enriched blocks. And we're going to need quite a few of these. So I'm going to go ahead and make 64 of them, because each one of these machines requires a frame. And that frame is also going to require some sort of stone material, which, if I remember correctly, is right in here. And I believe diorite counts as a stone material. So yeah, if we surround this with diorite, we can actually make the machine casings, and we're going to need 3 of those specifically. So let's go ahead and get those smelted. All of this gold, get that smelted, get those smelted, and that's cooking some glass, isn't it? We are going to need glass, by the way, so make sure you get glass prepped up. It's definitely going to be needed. And that's basically it. Once those are done, we are basically ready to craft these 3 machines. So at this point, I should have just about everything we need to get started with this. So the controller, super simple to make this. I am going to need a tad bit of wood. It's right over here. I'm going to throw this in here. Yeah, we're going to need just a little bit of the planks. Perfect. And the crafting grid, this right here, is going to actually utilize those the iron. So if you're like, why do you need iron? Well, you actually need it for the construction core if you've never messed with this mod before. And then a deconstruction core, which is quartz. And then you basically are making a regular screen. So this is just a regular grid. You can actually use this if you want, but it doesn't actually contain a crafting component to it. So you can just basically pull items in and out. But we're going to go ahead and upgrade that. Bam. And then last but not least, we just need some sort of chest. So there we go. And we have ourselves a disk drive. We have a full refined storage setup right here. 100%. All of these machines will get us refined storage. Now we need power to power the controller, which, believe it or not, doesn't actually take much power. And we also need a storage disk. Now, getting into the storage disk, I kind of want to make at least the first or second tier if I can. It depends on how much glass and how much of the silicon I have, but we should be able to make a fair amount. I'm going to get those numbers together and see what we can actually make here. I am so hoping that at the point we're at, we can at least make a 16K drive. From what I was looking at, I definitely don't have enough stuff to make the 64K drive. That would require like 160 silicon, which we just don't have yet. And we do have enough of the other resources, I think, but well, except for redstone, but I think we can get here. So what are we going to need for that? Well, basically we need 4K storage parts. And if we think about it this way, to make a 16K, we need the 4 4Ks. Each 4K is going to require 3 1Ks, which means we need 9 1Ks in total. So with that, should be pretty easy for us to go ahead and throw those together. And hopefully we have enough of the other raw materials. Basically I needed this many of the basic processors, as you can see. Just needed 12 of them. Throw those together. Last but not least, we needed 4 gold to make this. And yes, we do get a 16K. So at least we're being a little bit more efficient early on. And then to close this up, we just basically create ourselves a 16K drive. And then we throw that in there. Now, we still can't use this yet because we still need to make ourselves a generator to get ourselves some power. So cyclic is the one I'm going to go with for right now. Talks a little bit about how it does power right here, 1 coal. And it talks about how many ticks it lasts and all of that information, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. Hopefully it's redstone automatable as well. If not, we're going to work on something for that later on. So at the moment, this is pretty simple to make. See, I think all we need is 8 of it, right? Really, we just need 1 of it. And there we go. Combine that, and we have ourselves a beautiful coal generator. Now, where are we going to put this? I was thinking about putting it on top, actually. Changing this around. At the moment, I decided to put it here, but I actually might move it onto the bottom temporarily. Because there is a way we could have automated this with a different system, but I just think it's not going to look as good. So let's go ahead and throw this on top. There we go. It's weird how it flashed there. But directly on top is where this is going to go. Boop. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so exporting power. So we can choose to export, and it does have redstone control, which is great. Now, the one thing that I want to test. How does it consume our power? Or how does it send our power? How does this work? This is the thing that I want to redstone control the most, is to turning this on and off. But I just wonder how this power buffer is going to work once it hits that rate. Is it going to continue to consume coal once this is full? I hope not. But man, oh man, I can tell you it is nice to have some digital storage. We can now just throw, for the most part, everything in here. Just chuck it all inside here and give it a nice home. Look at this. We can get rid of all these chests. We have enough room for plenty of cobblestone and all of our other loot and stuff that we have. All this stuff just goes right in here in a nice little home of digital space that just exists. Some kind of weird dimension for it. Wouldn't that be the future though? Like if we just had like a cupboard and you put the items in the cupboard and then later on you just search it. Like, so let's say you put like raviolis in the inside of the digital storage, and then you're like, I'm hungry for lunch, and you request raviolis, and it gives it to you, and it's like, oh, you have 5 left, by the way. What a dream that would be, right? Oh man, that's kind of how I imagine this working. So I'm needing a bit of clay for the project that's going to be coming up. I want to get into thermal series and automate the resources that we need for our sieves. Now this is going to be a very generic basic setup, but I'm thinking about using pulverizers. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 pulverizers starting with cobblestone, and they're going to work their way down. However, there are some problems that we're going to have to jump over, where there's some hurdles that are going to be in our way, and we definitely need to figure out how to do that. And I'm thinking that storage drawers is probably going to be the solution to that. That and some very simple item routing, and I think that should be perfect, and we'll have items automated before we know it. So I'm just prepping for some stuff. I had to show this off because of how satisfying it is. But going through this process every single time. Oh yeah, that's where it's at. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It does consume a bit of our hunger, but man, is it worth it. So for the machines that I'm going to be making, in particularly one, which is going to be a magmatic dynamo, I'm going to be using this for power because I believe that we should be able to get enough lava from this with a certain kind of setup to be able to get the power to supply all of the pulverizers that we're going to need. So to make this, we need a thing called Invar. Now, Invar can be made from nickel, dust, and iron. It's probably one of the easiest ways to do this. And we can just combine it together, and we'll have quite a bit of it. Like, there's 33 of it, just like that. And all we have to do is smelt it just like any other material. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of this smelted up. And there we go. We don't even need an induction smelter. How nice. But actually, I think the induction smelter requires it, to be honest. So as you can see, all the iron, we have all of this ready to go. All I have to do now is make 4 pulverizers. That should be the exact amount we need. As you can see, it's going to require some iron nuggies. And that's about it. So we need 8 copper gears, 8 of these bad boys. We're going to need 4 of the tin gears. I mean, this stuff is super easy to make. 4 of these. Later on, I'm going to be making more because I believe, yeah, I definitely want to get a redstone furnace before long. I'm getting really tired of the vanilla furnaces. And yeah, this is going to require some pistons. So just have to make a couple of pistons as well. So I have ideas, but I have to put them into work. So I went ahead and set this up because I would like to use fire on these to get them working. And I'm probably going to need to craft up some redstone. But first, we can go ahead and use simple things underneath this. So let's go ahead and get started with these crucibles. This is going to be our lava source. So I'm thinking about putting it here. I might actually go ahead and remove the rest of the wood here. I don't want to catch our base on fire, and that'd be pretty bad, right? So this is going to go 1 block up. We're going to go ahead and get all of our fire crucibles. I'm going to use 5 of them for right now. This is going to generate lava. We're going to have a source that is going to send all of these, some items, and we'll see how that works here in a minute. And then we're going to have our magmatic dynamo generating power. So we're going to skip a few blocks. And right about here is where this whole setup is going to go. I think we can give it a 2-block gap, and that should be plenty. And let's go ahead and get this set up. So right here is going to be a cobblestone generator. Let's see, I should be able to, I'm actually going to place it right here. That should work. And then the next is going to be all pulverizers. Seems kind of weird, but I'll talk about it here in a second. On top of that is going to be a drawer controller, believe it or not. And we need to actually place our first drawer in, and that should automatically start producing cobblestone. Actually, after that, I'm going to go ahead and remove the drawer controller, but keep in mind that that's where it's going to go. Everything else is going to go right here, just like that. And then there's one more drawer that is going to go right here in the top, and that is going to be random flint. So let's go ahead and get gravel, because we need to lock these things in. Sand, which I can go ahead and make with this. Actually, we can go ahead and make both. So we'll take the sand, knock it down, and there we go. We also have our dust, and we also need flint, right? So we need to store all of these and make sure these drawers are locked. That's what this key comes in handy, and this is really, really helpful for automation. So we go cobblestone, then we go gravel, right? And then we go sand, and then we go dust. That should work, I believe. I may be thinking about this all wrong, right? Let me just make sure. Cobblestone is going to need cobblestone to crush this down. Then it's going to need to crush down this. Then it's going to need to crush down this. Maybe we don't need 4. That was completely wrong. We only need 3. That makes this even simpler. It's literally so much simpler. I am going to probably leave this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go... Oop. And we're going to move this over. And this is actually going to get moved over as well. I have no idea where that... Oh, there it went. So yeah, so this is going to make this a little bit offset, isn't it? Than what I was originally predicting. You know what? To do that, we'll just set this here. Let's actually do this. Perfect. So this is just the troubleshooting that I go through, right? So flint will go down here, and then dust will go here. Perfect. That'll actually work, and it fits just perfect in here. Nice. So I have a pulverizer for later on. How lucky am I there? So yeah, we need to lock these drawers to make sure everything stays in there. So this is going to be what the actual pulverizer pulls in from, believe it or not. So it's going to be kind of a neat little automation setup going here. So like I said, this is going to fill this with cobblestone because it is pumping into that drawer controller. But I also need this drawer controller to pull cobblestone out to fill these. So that is another thing that I'm going to need to do. For that, I'm going to need an item pipe. And I think I have to filter this out, believe it or not, because I think gravel can be turned into lava, and I definitely don't want that happening. So with the pipes mod, there's some cool stuff you can do with these upgrades. I don't remember if the basic one, oh, these require upgrading a little bit different. Actually, you know what, we may not, if the item filter, if they're requiring us not to be able to use item filters this way, what I'm probably going to do then is I'm just going to run an item pipe directly from this drawer itself, the drawer that contains the cobblestone, and run that directly into here. And so I can easily pipe into all of these. Actually, I should probably pipe from the top. As weird as that's going to look, I know these pipes are not the prettiest thing in the world. As weird as that's going to look, it's going to be much easier for me to get the fluid out of here. So there we go. And then all you need is the pipe wrench, and you'll set that to pull. And as you can see, it's going to start filling all of this with stuff. So with cobblestone. Now I need to get that cooking. So for right now, torches, that's going to be the best thing for it at the moment. Like I said, I want to use fire, but we actually have to get something that can sustain fire for a long period of time. And that's what we're going to work on here in a minute. Now, I know I'm mixing mods here, but that's perfectly fine. This right here is, of course, the cyclic fluid pipes, and it's just as simple on this one. Oh, not shift right clicking, that breaks them. I got to be able to get down or get onto these to turn them on. Here, it's such a pain. When things are not at the right height, there we go. Perfect, and there we go. So all of this should be pulling fluid out, and it should be splitting it, I believe. I may remove this temporarily. I don't know if it round robins fluids or whatever, but we definitely need this to fill up and then start using this as a buffer. Or what we could do is I could probably fit this in a little bit differently. And let's see, we can set this up so that way it is a buffer and the magmatic dynamo is completely separate. So to do that, I basically remove this, make sure that's there, and then we can put the magmatic dynamo somewhere near, well, we have to have a little bit of room. So I can place it like that, and well, technically underneath, I'll probably route the lava. Yeah, that's probably gonna be the way to go. Now, of course, one of the first upgrades I think I want to make is one for the dynamo, and that's gonna be a hardened upgrade here. It's gonna make us, give us way more power than we're gonna need for this particular setup. I can go ahead and show you. Over here, you can see this now produces 40 RF per tick. We put this in here, it's gonna produce 80 RF per tick. I believe each one of these requires 20 off the base, so this is going to be more than enough to cover the costs of all three of those running. So as far as cables go, I believe like for item pipes, they're actually pretty cheap for like the item pipes. But for energy cables, it's going to be definitely cyclic for the win. And even the fluid cables, like these cables are pretty, some of the cheapest, like all three of those are honestly really nice. And I don't think these, oh, these do have filtering in them. So you could even filter. That's actually really nice. Like, yeah, the cyclic is definitely the way to go, I think, for cableage. As far as the cheap end goes on cables. So I'm going to go ahead and route the power down here on the bottom. I think this is going to be the best setup. I had to move this down. And then, of course, make sure if you do use this, you have to set the export. And that should be pulling power now to all the machines. Just like that. Now, like I said, the only problem is we are going to need a little bit of this, so we do need some lava. So I definitely need to probably stop this setup for now with the cable. Like, we need lava to build up into this tank so I can make some redstone, or so I can make some other materials. Let's see. If I do this, it's going to turn it off, isn't it? It's going to completely break it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I need to let that build up. As far as items go, though, it's actually really simple. We're going to just do this. So this needs to be disconnected, which I think we can do here. Completely disconnect. And once we set the backup, these will actually be connected and allow us to be able to connect the pipe to them. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and configure the inside here, because it's actually pretty simple. Configuration, the top is going to be the input, and then we need to make sure we have auto pull on. So it's going to auto pull the cobblestone, and then the back is where we're going to output everything back into our drawer controller. That's going to save us on that issue of what this can generate, because when it breaks down cobblestone, it can actually generate cobblestone, sand, and flint. So we need all of those to be able to be exported out of the back. And you can see now I can set that export cable up, and then now it's gone. So same for this, auto on, is set to orange, and same on this. Man, it doesn't get any easier than this. I tell you what, does not get any easier. But boy, that is awfully loud. Listen to that hum. And yeah, and this set like that. And now this is going to start filling with all the materials that we're going to need for this. And this just runs passively. So the whole thing that I've been talking about as far as making this faster and be able to light it, yeah, we need to actually make this. Look at that. Netherrack. So yeah, it's a lava with a beautiful piece of redstone. I know it's super expensive. But with some flint and steel, we can actually create fire. Now, like I said, I'm kind of worried about the fire part. And potentially catching this on fire, so I'm gonna go ahead and break this. I'm gonna set this here. I'm gonna set it on fire. That gives us 6 times the speed that we were getting before. But I'm gonna go ahead and also break all the wood around here, because I have a feeling that it might actually catch this. Even the logs, I have a kind of a feeling. I'm actually gonna kind of break this just in case it does catch on fire. I'm gonna kind of break this just to kind of protect myself from the future of potential flammage. Yeah, that's not going to be good. So there we go. I got the last one placed in. Went ahead and set our cable back up. This thing is now generating power, and it is actually increasing in lava generation, even though this generation is pretty slow. Later on, there's going to be a faster way to generate lava, but man, that right there, it's about as fast as it's going to get for us for a while. Having that lava 6 times is really it. Even the high tier cobblestone generator that is the tier 5 only generates at a ×5 lava production rate. So that is a ×6. So we're actually doing pretty good. And as you can see, it's going to start to build the dust up first, then it's going to move to the sand, then the gravel, and eventually this will all fill up, and that's exactly what I want. Well, guys, I told you today was going to be a bit interesting. A lot happening today in this episode. But of course, I do want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is going to be a huge thanks going out to King War for being an absolute boss over on Patreon, going absolutely above and beyond supporting this channel. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being an amazing supporter over there. And guys, of course, if you're interested in becoming a Patreon yourself, you can find that link down in the description below. While you're there, be sure to check out my live streams, because I do live stream Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays over on that beautiful twitch.tv/ChosenArchitect. Of course, that's where to find me, or you can click that really convenient link down in the description below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. Of course, I'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. I almost forgot that part. And also, you know, give this a nice little thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And guys, of course, I'll see you. And as always, thanks for watching.